have found Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. Downloadable audio episodes can be found in the podcast link found at drawincustomers.com. We are locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie, and today we're welcoming / preparing to learn from Rowan Childs of Madison Reading Project. And Rowan, I'm super excited to be here.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome.
This is amazing. People can see we got 5 billion books behind us
Thousands
and
and
all that
thousands
stuff.
of books.
So tell us the story. What is Madison Reading Project?
Yeah, so we are a nonprofit. We provide all kinds of literacy resources, whether they are physical books, digital resources, and our wonderful stuff. We're here to support adults and children in support of them learning how to read, in support of them re-engaging or engaging in reading and a love of books, ultimately to help um, raise literacy rates in Dane County and now just in Sauk County as well.
Nice.
That's a brand new thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
That we're really here to make sure that kids have their books and to help remove some of those barriers that they have. So whether it's been from the very beginning through what we do today, we do that in a way more sophisticated way than so how we started, but it really is to try and provide really high quality materials that children and adults can keep. So we want to make sure that kids are excited about the books and about reading, and that they ultimately are inspired to want to hang on to those and to continue to read and love books.
Nice. I love it.
Mhm.
I love it. It's so interesting because when you gave me the address to the place, I just followed GPS and I was like, it's just going to be some warehouse or something like that. But this is a very bright, it's vibrant, it's welcoming. It's not just some dingy, like, there's the books in the back kind of thing.
Not at all.
So this is cool. This is very nice.
Good. That's how we want everyone to feel.
Yeah, I love it. Let's go back to the way back when you first started this.
Mm-hmm.
12 years ago, you said?
Yep.
That is a while.
Mm-hmm.
We got pandemic. We got, man, I feel like every few years there's some kind of a crisis. So I don't remember all the crises we've been through.
Yes.
But what triggered you to start Madison Reading Project?
Yeah. I had just helped my own son re-engage in reading. He liked reading things at home, but not so much the books that he was reading at school. And after I helped him figure that out, it just got me thinking about what if I hadn't understood the teacher who had messaged me at home, or what if they hadn't messaged me? It took me some time and resources to figure that out. So I started just researching and couldn't really find what I was looking for, which wasn't necessarily volunteering on helping kids how to read. It was the other piece of it. Um, and so I spent some time interviewing at some schools and some other after school locations, and no one really knew of of what I was describing. And eventually had this idea of potentially this pilot program idea, but wanted to find a pilot program location that would be smaller versus starting somewhere that had 200 kids. So I eventually found a program at Salvation Army on Darbo Drive that had 30 kids. And Darbo Drive area is a pretty impoverished area. And the director at that time said he was actually trying to help the kids with homework, but they were behind in reading, and he was trying to engage kids in reading. So it was this perfect sort of timing. And the week that we met, the Race to Equity report came out, which was a 5-year data set on everything that you kind of need for the proof of why literacy is so important. So anything on the actual literacy rates of every school in the county, comparing not just districts and schools, but also third grade reading levels, fifth grade, high school, um, in poverty rates, and also race, comparing kids who are white and black or Hispanic, and some of the differences, not only were maybe 10 or 15%, but some of the schools were up to 40% differences. And that's just heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It still, every time I talk about it, it makes me just really sad.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can't read, whether you're in third grade, you're just always going to be behind. Ultimately, you might still be able to struggle through school, but what kind of job are you going to be able to get, or can you even get your driver's license? It's just um, snowballs from there.
Yeah.
Um, and Will, who was the director at the time, was really adamant that if you can't read, it's just going to be a really difficult life, or could lead to a life of incarceration. And so the two of us were very passionate about trying to figure something out. And then the last piece was the funding. And
Pretty big piece.
kind of, I had no money to put towards my pilot program. Someone had mentioned what I wanted to do, said, you really need to have the right money to do the pilot program correctly.
Thanks.
Yes, and wrote me a check for $1,000,
Oh,
which is
seriously,
just really
thanks.
nice.
Yeah. All right.
That way I could actually purchase the right materials to make the pilot correct.
Wow.
So that was the last piece for that. So we did a 3-month pilot program that went really well. The parents, the kids were really engaged and excited about clearing out some of the old books that nobody wanted to read, putting in new books that the kids helped select. The teachers were excited to have new materials. So successful that they asked me to come back and do it again.
All right.
Which we did. And one thing led to another. But it definitely, as we stayed and sort of kept learning from that really was the beginning of um, learning that absolutely kids do want to learn how to read. They absolutely do want to read great books and to select books. And there's a lot of pride in being able to select their own books. And we stayed at that location exclusively for nearly 2 years, just learning
Okay.
with the kids and the parents and the teachers, really like what we did or didn't want to do, or what we could do before we were going to scale at all. And that was great. And the other piece was, how are we going to fund all of this apart
Right.
from that initial check? And while we were doing that initial pilot program in that first year, people just started giving me boxes of their nice books that they had never used, or just unsolicited. They're like, oh, by the way, I have a box of books for you. I'm like, oh, thank you so much. Or people are asking me how they could donate some money because they loved what they had heard what I was doing, whether I really knew them or not. To the point where I had a basement full of books
Wow.
in my house.
All right.
And I was like, this seems like we have something here. So we have definitely children in a population in Madison initially that absolutely would love to have more books and programs. We have people who absolutely seem to love books and want to provide books. And there also seems to be people who would like to donate money towards the cause. So it seemed like we had 3 core items to create a nonprofit.
Nice.
That's
So
how it started.
when did it become a full-time gig for you then?
I didn't become officially full-time until nearly 4 years ago. So I've always had a full-time job, and then continued to hire people as it got bigger and bigger.
Gotcha. All right.
Mhm.
That'd be a big moment.
Yeah.
I mean, because then you're talking 8 years in, and 4 years ago, you're talking right after pandemic or at the tail end of the pandemic.
Yep.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So when did you go from it being a pilot to you actually got a bus?
The bus was officially year 5.
Okay.
So we had gone from the one location, started spreading out, and started working with a couple of elementary schools and some community after school programs, which was great. But really, we had a variety of stuff. We knew where for instance, the stuff would go out. They had to have a car They had a folding table, boxes of books, maybe a coworker who couldn't drive. So they had to bring all of those materials and maybe a book dolly or something like that to get all of the materials into a school.
Oh, wow.
So it became more burdensome for employing staff because someone needed to have a car. And also just that awareness of someone showing up unless they had a Madison Reading Project t-shirt on as who are you?
Yeah, right. Coming to the school. Yeah. Welcome
It's
to
like, who
Rowan.
are you? You've got some boxes of books. Oh, okay, you're Madison Reading Project. And also you could only bring as many books as they fit into their car.
Sure.
So trying to sort of figure out how do we do this in a much better way, which if we have a vehicle, we can bring more books, or if it's branded, they'll know who we are. And we can also go directly to where kids are. So we rent up our vehicle, and that was amazing when we wrote our biggest grant at that time. And we were able to, I think that was 2019, we got our
All right.
first bus.
Nice.
And that was a huge moment for us just as far as an awareness piece. So a lot of people obviously recognize the bus. We were able to go to so many more places, more books. And that was an exciting point.
That is cool.
Mm-hmm.
I bet though, I mean, then it becomes, I suppose, more real instead of just this is a little project. Let's just see how this goes kind of thing. And now you have something tangible that you're not just giving away.
Right. I mean, there's definitely more of a recognition piece
Yeah.
with that. We had more stuff beforehand, but now we needed more stuff. And just setting up more direct, specific programs and things like that.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
I have 50 million questions for you. So I'm just trying to think, oh my gosh, that leads to this question.
Yeah.
Let's just start out filing for nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
How tough was that?
There's a variety of ways you can do it. I don't like any kind of forms like that, girl.
Okay.
I hired someone to do that for me.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
All right. And then with nonprofit, you need a board.
Yep.
So tell me, how did you find who's going to be at
the
the board?
initial board, we did have people from the community center, and a friend or two were on that, and the teachers and some parents,
Okay.
and two of our board members who are still on our board, who were some of our original volunteers, were part of that original board.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever have pushback from the board, or sometimes where you're like, this is how we should do it? And different people on the board's like, oh, Rowan, pump the brakes.
Not so much. I mean, I think everyone was definitely very excited about what we were doing. We're different in what we were doing. And I think even some of our board members, we often would sort of kind of take a poll of like where we were on the risk
Oh, okay.
levels.
Okay. Where they were, or were the
The board.
Okay.
And back then there were just fewer employees
Okay.
too. And I think because we were much smaller and nimble, we did feel like we could take some more chances at things.
Sure.
Versus a big organization. So we were able to pivot, for instance, like during COVID or some other things like that, because we were a smaller organization. And we still pride ourselves a lot on being innovative. But for the most part, our board has been, I would absolutely say, has been really supportive. And they really listen, whether it's to myself or to my colleagues and the staff, because they know that we're the ones who are out in the field and doing the work.
All right. That's a big deal.
Which is a big deal. But we also try really hard to have a variety of board members who are in the like education field, and many other different things, so that we get a big, a wide variance of different people's opinions and expertise.
Right.
But there definitely have been some hard moments, whether it's trying to figure out, the whole COVID situation of what we are doing or not doing, or moving multiple times, or anything else we've got going on.
So you've been in this space how long?
This
Few
one, a
months?
couple of months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can imagine just moving all this. That's a lot.
That's why we hire movers.
That's. I can just imagine the board being like, "Should we hire movers?" Like, yeah, we should hire movers.
Yes, that we just told them.
Okay, this is
Mhm.
happening. Got it.
Yes.
Tell me a story about hiring,
Yeah.
because I mean, I have to hire for my businesses, and it's a challenge. You have to hire for a nonprofit,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Hey, we're a nonprofit. A lot of times we have to do things that we didn't know that you'd have to do, but you got to do because we're a
Yeah.
nonprofit. This is how this works."
Mhm.
How tough or easy has it been?
Mhm.
I'm gonna dare say tough.
Uh,
Has it been to hire
yeah.
employees?
I mean, over the years, definitely, just thinking all the way back, I think we have been pretty fortunate because of what we're doing. People are definitely super passionate
Mm-hmm.
about literacy or helping the community. So whether people have a background in education, or just a love of books themselves.
Sure.
But, I'd say working, Madison and Dane County does have a really low employment rate. But I do think people who do want to help others and be in this area, um, has benefited us. So as a whole, I think we've always had applicants for all of our positions,
Wow, that's awesome.
which is great, which we're definitely really thankful for that.
Yeah.
Um, but it's still a tough market, and um, that's something that we will always push, for example, on our board on, because we want to hang on to our employees.
Yeah.
And now at this point, there's I now have a co-ED, so Deirdre handles a lot more of the HR and hiring process.
Got it.
And there's, as you know, there's a lot to have to go through and check through all of the applicants and
Oh my gosh. So yeah.
yes, but I do think it is it is flattering, and it is nice that that many people truly would like to work here with us and do the work that we're doing, whether it is in accounting or whether it's in programming or in development, whether they're out in the field or writing grants, mainly inside the office, but everyone does get to be part of the whole team.
Right on.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about the community, Madison area,
Mm.
Dane County, and all that. How supportive has the community been for you?
Extremely.
Okay.
And
great.
that's definitely something I feel like I could see from at the very beginning, and leading up to even the first couple of years. We wouldn't be where we're at today without all of the community support, whether that's individuals, whether that's corporations, foundations, just seeing, all of these brand new books
Yeah.
behind me. Those are not free books.
No, I was going to
You have
ask
to
you about the
purchase
money a little
those.
bit here. Yeah.
Yeah, so knowing, I think, that the people, in our community and in the Dane or greater Dane County area or Wisconsin, that people um, know and support education,
Okay.
um, is due to how we are able to continue our work. And that means they support literacy, they support educators, they support making sure that children's well being also is really important. And we support lots of different communities, um, which can mean, that means a wide different things. So whether it's, we provide books in all different kinds of languages. We provide books for for babies, aka parents, 0 all the way through 18-year-olds.
Wow.
We provide, we work with Dane County Health Department. We work with the juvenile system. We work with, every school district. I mean, there's so many different ways that we work with, sometimes in very small ways and sometimes in very big ways. But we have a lot of trust from the community over the years, and I think that's something that you have to earn. And I think our staff and volunteers put a lot of time in asking lots of questions and follow through to make sure that when we're showing up, that we're bringing the right things or asking the right questions. And that's why we're asked to come back over and over again.
Right on.
Mhm.
You raise an interesting point here. So you have all these organizations that you're working with. We have schools, many
Mhm.
schools, and you said juvenile detention, I imagine, or something like
Mhm.
that. So all these places, are they reaching out to you like, hey, come here with your bus? Or are you reaching out to them saying, hey, I got a bus with a bunch of books? Is it chicken or egg here?
At this point, it's mostly it's them
Them
reaching
reaching
out
out to you.
to
Okay.
us. Initially, we were reaching out to people.
So as your awareness became
Yes.
broader,
Yeah.
their awareness of you became
Mhm.
broader. Okay.
And sometimes, we may have partnered with different schools along the way. And what we were doing, for instance, 5 years ago is not what we're doing now with schools. So our programs have changed as well as we do have our core 5 programs now. So we may have been doing a specific partnership with a school in 2022, and now we're doing this particular program with all schools. So we really tried to clarify and give give everyone the same these are the school programs, these are the other programs that we do for after school. So that everyone knows exactly what we're doing, and also for our staff's sake as well. Um,
Keep the sanity.
and just because there's so many things that are happening
Yeah.
here.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Fair.
Yeah, but there's a lot of different things, and we help everyone in a wide variety of ways. Even if you took schools, for example, each elementary school is slightly different. Even within a school district, there's different kids who make up each school, or different parents, different teachers or principals that want things a slightly different way.
Sure.
Or they have, different families with different needs. So just again, we're not a cookie cutter situation, so we want to make sure when we show up with our resources, that they're exactly the right resources, so it looks effortless when we actually get there.
Gotcha. So you don't have a kid walking up to the bus and say, I don't like anything in here.
Yep. Or whether we're, depending also on the weather, we might be inside a school.
Oh, sure.
Um, so the same thing when we bring everything, whether it's the teachers or the kids, um, everything looks exciting. And if we know, for instance, if there's kids who speak Hmong or kids who speak Spanish, um, that there's a wide selection of books for them as well. Likewise, we always have a wide selection of diverse books. We want to make sure every kid is excited and sees themselves on the cover or as the main character. A wide selection of nonfiction books, so that they're just as excited as well. Like, I want to have a book that's in my home language to take home, or if I'm really into horses or zombies, there's also that opportunity. Um, we want kids to just be really excited. So all of the work to make sure we know exactly what kids are up to or into is what our staff are really good at, and that's listening to kids and the teachers. So like I mentioned, so when we get there, it looks effortless, but
Yeah.
behind the scenes was all the work.
Fair.
Hmm.
Fair. Tell me about the books, right? Most important character here.
Yeah.
These are all new, right?
Yeah. So we purchase all of our books new.
Okay.
We do get donations of people can donate new books to us, either off of our lists online.
Lists
We
where you're asking for a specific book.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can. We do have online lists,
Okay.
or people can also make a general donation. Similar to a food pantry, we're able to purchase books at wholesale or lower cost. So we purchase it ahead of time, knowing what we're going to be doing or what the sort of continuous books are desired by kids, or what we're up to, where we're going. So we know, books that we're always going to need, and also what books are being read and selected by kids. So we don't want to reorder books that are not being selected
All right.
by kids, and also we know where we're going for that month or 2 months ahead of time. So really not trying to overload our book center too much. We don't have that much space.
Mm-hmm.
So we really try to be specific about what we're ordering, and where we know potentially what might take longer to get here. So, for instance, if we know we've got several festivals coming up that we know are going to be giving out hundreds of books of a particular genre, we'll start ordering those weeks in advance and
Oh,
leave those to the side so we have those, and then continue to make sure we've got all of our other types of books. So that way we've sort of slowly are collecting that particular genre while also giving out other books. But we have someone at this rate who spends nearly, I would say, a third of their time doing ordering and purchasing of books.
wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So since I'm assuming you don't have some fifth grader on payroll,
Mm-hmm.
how do you know what books are popular with kids?
Yeah. Well, definitely our staff listen to
Okay.
what kids are asking for if there's something we don't have, but also what are kids asking for, whether it's a specific topic, a character. Do you have this one? Do you have that one? Or it could be, a new TV series or genre, something like that. Or also we have a literacy expert on stuff. So we're also always monitoring as well, like what's new and coming out. The same with our educator program is we're always looking at what are all of the new books that are coming out that teachers are going to want for the school year too. So trying to stay on top of everything so that by the time teachers are selecting books or kids are just selecting books year round, we've got the pulse of what kids want.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
You said literacy expert? Help me with that.
Yeah. So one of our staff, that is, she spends her life in books. I mean, we do as well, but that is what she has her master's in.
Okay.
And so often, whether it's selecting specific books, not only for our programs, but sometimes we will have some of our partners who are looking for very specific books, whether it's for some of our particular social workers, for instance, so it might be kids or even books for us to know which books we should take, for instance, and should be stocked at like a homeless shelter. There are some books that we should definitely have there, and there's other books that we should definitely not have there. We also have partnerships with a variety of other locations where they might have kids who are going through a particular traumatic situation. Again, making sure that we're providing the right type of books um, that would be appropriate in that situation as well.
All right.
So we have books that are definitely like kind of like I mentioned, but there's some that are for educators that kids wouldn't necessarily pick themselves. And we have books as well that are for adults to read to kids and really discuss what's in the book. Um, and then there's books that kids would select.
Got it.
Mhm.
Makes sense here. So the books here, I see a huge variety and age variety. So how do you keep track of where the books go? I don't see
The
Dewey
team is
Decimal System
amazing.
here. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, no
Dewey
joke. No
Decimal
joke. Yeah.
System. Yeah.
Absolutely. So is it by age or genre
It's
or?
a little bit by age. I mean, mostly you can kind of see right behind us there's picture books, middle grade, nonfiction graphic novels. In front of us are high school books.
Oh, sure.
But the stuff really know where everything is, and also they know exactly what needs to be ordered ahead of time. There is an amazing wholesale and national distributor in Madison that most people don't know about
Is
because
it really?
there's not really a retail front to them called a Books for School.
Okay.
Anyone can shop there, but they ship books nationally. So
Huh.
we're very fortunate to have them in our back pocket.
Yeah.
So if we're ever short on anything, we order a lot of things from them, we can just go get them in 10 minutes or go. If we're short on something, we're like, oh, we need 30 more books like this. We can go pick them up at our price point versus just being short or having to pay retail price on something.
Yeesh.
If we were an hour and a half away or something like
Right.
that. Otherwise, everything else we have to order that takes days or weeks to get here.
Mm-hmm.
So we order pallets of books. Um, you might have seen those, like a giant pallet in the
Many.
hallway.
Yeah.
That's otherwise how we would normally order books by.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So my little brother and I volunteer with Big Brothers Big Sisters.
Mm-hmm.
My little brother Danny and I worked with Madison Food Bank as a volunteer thing, and we put the barrels out, and then at businesses and stuff like that, people filled them with food, and we rented a big truck to get those barrels,
Yeah.
and we bring it back to the food bank, and they weigh it, and they're like, "Oh, you have this many hundreds of pounds of food or whatever. That's equivalent to this." And I asked the person there, like, "Hey, if we would have just given you the money that I paid to rent the truck, how much food could you have gotten?" And they're like, 20 times what you picked up. And like through all this, my car ended up with a dent. The variety of food, I'm like, how do you even organize this, right? You had this one bag of this and one bag of this versus books. You're like, hey, we got 20 of this book that
Mm-hmm.
we know a lot of kids like. So I felt like, well, it's good because myself and my little brother Danny, we learned something going through this volunteer thing. That's great. But from time and money implemented to the end result, we would have been better to just write the check instead of to the rental truck company
Mm-hmm.
to the food bank.
Yes.
And I imagine it's probably a similar situation with books.
Yes. There's from the very beginning, we have always told people, like, you can donate any new children's book. And I've told people, like, whether it's a baby book all the way through for teen books, I always tell people if you wouldn't feel comfortable giving it to your niece or nephew as a teenager, then it's not appropriate
Fair.
for you to give it to us. Because that's hard with what's appropriate for teens or not.
Sure, it's a gray area, I
Yes,
suppose. Yeah.
exactly. And some people definitely have books that are used but in very good condition, or appear to be new. And at this point, because we do have brand new books, we do put the lightly used books in a separate program so that everything is fair and equal. So we don't want, if we're going to, we have a program for free book fairs, which is exactly what it sounds like. We want to make sure that everyone has a brand new book so that you don't end up with a used book. And I have a brand new book. So when you open it and smells like a brand new book and has that crack, or you crack it open for the first time and yours doesn't, or you can tell that someone has.
Sure, this is a note from somebody's mom, and it's
Right.
great.
We want everyone to have that new book feeling, which we
Gotcha.
talk specifically about that. We want everyone to have that feeling and joy, but we want your book to go to good use. So we do have a lot of parameters around how do you get that lightly used but great book. So we do have a list of ways you can donate that book, and ask that you look through the list before you drop that book off. But we have a way for those books to still get out to kids. So we have our community access program, which is sorting through all of those books and getting them back out through community shelves, little free libraries, which we steward over 70 of them at community sites. So whether that's community centers, schools, places where adults are learning. And last year through that program, over 12,000 kids' books went out. So those were all donated books that were given to us that were lightly used books. So there's still ways to do that, but they wouldn't go in the new book population.
Fair.
But otherwise, when you donate funds, a book, for instance, that might cost us $4 might cost in retail $12 to $15 a piece, especially those brand new books that just come out, or those big new picture books are really expensive. They're beautiful. We want those books to be in teachers' hands, especially those hardcover books that'll last a long time. Sometimes those retail can cost $15 to $20 a piece.
Mm-hmm. I bought some books for my kid that I'm like, ooh, that he was all excited for. It just came out, and you're like, you know what? I've wasted money on worse things than a book. So we'll get them the book where you're like, whoa, that's a margin.
Yeah, I mean, and because we do order a lot of books or by bulk, we're able to, similar to the food pantry, we're able to get a better price, and especially books in Spanish, for instance, as well. They're still more expensive than English books.
Are they really?
Yes, I mean, they're definitely coming down in price
Okay.
because there's less books in Spanish being printed than in English.
Okay.
So they're always going to be a little bit more expensive than the English books.
Huh.
Um,
I just assumed, this is probably
Yeah.
ignorant on my part, but I assume 20 years ago, sure, that makes sense because we have to print 50 million books at a time. But now with print on demand, we need one book.
Mhm.
It's pretty much the same price.
They've come down in price, but we always figured currently they're still more expensive.
Interesting.
Especially retail, they're usually always more expensive.
Huh. All right. Who knew?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's the same in Mexico. If English books are
would
more
think-
expensive there.
Maybe.
I wonder.
I would figure yes.
Yeah. Tell me, let's talk about the money because that's with a nonprofit. That's always a challenging part.
Yes.
You do a fundraiser.
We
Or
do a variety.
Probably do
of
a few
fundraisers.
fundraisers. Okay.
Mhm.
Tell me about all those that you have going on.
So the ways that we give everything away for free. So we need to
Yeah, you got to raise money. Yeah.
we have to
Nothing-
raise money.
Nothing's truly free, right?
So we take donations from anyone out in the public.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have a couple of our own fundraisers that we do. At the end of the year, we have community book drive,
Okay.
which sounds like what it might be.
Sure.
So we do take new book donations and funds. And it's also an awareness piece pretty much the whole month of November. And all of those a lot of those funds and those books we give away during that holiday season.
Oh, so you ramp up.
So we
Building up
ramp
the
up-
warehouse to.
ramp up that whole month. And usually our goal is around $80,000 to $100,000.
Okay.
And then we give away during that time frame pretty much all of those toy giving organizations. We're always there giving out books at the same time. So Empty Stocking Club, St. Vincent's, Toys for like all of those different places. We're there as well giving out brand new books so that family members can pick out what their kids would like. So we usually give out around 15 to 18,000 books in about 3 weeks time, give or take.
That is a lot of books.
But community book drive is a great way for us also just to talk about why literacy is important, get the word out about what we're doing and how people can help as well. So November's a busy month.
Yeah, sounds like it. I'm just trying to think of physically moving 15,000 books. That's
Well, I mean, yes, we do order pallets of books. When the biggest
that means 15,000 kids individually are grabbing a book or whatever.
Yes. I mean, the biggest piece of community book drive or the biggest giveaway is at Empty Stocking Club.
Okay.
So usually we'll actually send 12,000 books on pallets to a Lion Energy Center.
Okay.
Now we know how to do that now. And
little
we
bit.
have volunteers
We
help
didn't
us out
before.
ride, because that's just the weight, if you can
Yeah.
along, is a lot.
Yeah.
So we have pallets and movers and lots of volunteers help us with
All right. That is
Mhm.
awesome.
because books are heavy.
Tell me about ready to wear.
Yeah. So we were just talking earlier about design competitions.
Yeah.
Ready to Wear is our biggest one-day fundraiser, and that'll be in June 11th this year. This year will
Well, it's
be
coming up. Okay.
coming up.
Yeah.
This will be our 9th year of our paper design competition.
Is it really?
Mhm.
Wow. Good for you guys.
And it's a paper design competition. Teams ahead of time make paper fashion, and the fashion is unbelievable. This isn't just someone rolling up and putting some like paper bags on. This is highly detailed clothing. And they compete on the catwalk, sort of similar to Project Runway. So we have our celebrity judges on stage and the MCs, so people attend the fundraiser, so they're kind of like watching a show. The celebrity judges narrow it down to the top 3, and then the audience at the end gets to vote with their phone
Oh,
for
clever.
the winner.
Okay.
So it's interactive as well. And it's a really fun community event. So there's all kinds of different teams, whether they're corporate teams, artists, nonprofits, that are competing. Some teams are nearly there every year. There's always new teams. And people get very excited about what the theme is every year. We change the theme every year.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Last year was Legends and Fairy Tales.
Okay.
This year it's Out of This World, so it's a space theme. I did not know that NASA was sending
All right, sure.
sending a shuttle to the moon.
Right.
Thank you, NASA. But we switch the theme every year, and the people who are really into it always want to know the theme months in advance. So
Wow.
it's a thing.
Yeah. So I saw at the Madison Airport
Yes.
the display. I mean, maybe it's
Yeah.
still there.
It's still there.
And it's one of those, like, you're waiting for a cab or whatever. And I'm like, what am I looking at here? And they are elaborate. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Just, I don't know how they put them on.
Yeah.
Or take them
People
off.
are moving in those.
Yeah.
Too, not just
Surreal.
on a mannequin. They are amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad they're up at the airport. It'll be just about over 6 months that they'll be up.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Yeah. We're so glad that they're there. Also in daylight as well. The event is at the Sylvie. And the event does go pretty quickly. So you do see them up on the stage several times. And then after the show, we ask that all models come out so that people can see them up close and take photos with their favorite teams. And
So they got to walk around in those for a little bit.
so they have to, we tell people to design them, like they're always going to stick together, but they need to stick together for the night.
All right. That alone.
Yes, we have a variety of emergency supplies in there.
Get the stapler. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
But yes, you do get to see everybody up close, but putting those back together again for the airport display was really amazing because some of them we hadn't seen in years, or they've been in boxes.
Oh, I just assumed they were from last year. They were.
Some of them were from last year. But
Okay.
some of them, they're from the last 8 years. So there's a couple from the very first year all the way through.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So someone's like, yeah, you can display that.
I mean, and there's one from American Girl that they had as they were the winner from the very first year. That's over there. So all kinds of different teams that have participated. It's really fun. So whether you're into fashion or you're just there to support your friend who's on a team, or you just want to come and support Madison Reading Project, it's a fun event to go to.
So
It's not your usual gala.
No, it looks amazing. So whose idea was that? Was that yours, or
I did come up with it.
Okay. That's okay. You can be like, I got a good idea. See, this is all right.
We were trying to figure out something way back when we were teeny tiny. Everybody else was having big events and galas.
Sure. Here's the silent
going to and this was a couple years after the whole like Badgers on Parade thing and the cows. And
oh yeah.
I'm like, well, we're not going to do that, and we're a paper-based company or nonprofit. I like fashion. I'm like, we should maybe make something out of paper, but we don't want to make all those things. We should have someone else make something out of paper. And the board and I were just talking about it, and then I'm like, I've seen someone on Pinterest made a dress out of brown paper. And then it kind of just stuck in my head, and eventually we figured out, like, we should have other people make paper dresses. Oh, wait, we could make them compete in them. And then eventually we came up with it. And that first time was really kind of like, I hope people really understood their assignment. People signed up to be part of the competition. We had sponsors. We sold all of the tickets like a week in advance.
Wow.
Which was great. So people definitely wanted to come see it. And everyone loved it. It was super fun. And that from then on, we've had the show because people, as much work as it all is, people just really remember that show and they remember how fun it is and they know that it's associated with Madison Reading Project. And it's kind of amazing how many people know about it.
Yeah.
Even if they haven't attended, they're like, oh, you're the paper fashion lady from Madison Reading Project. Okay.
Yes, I am. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Tell me, I know we don't have a ton of time, but I want to ask you about marketing. So when you first started building awareness, what did you do to get the name out there?
I had to use all the free things.
Okay. You're the best kind. All right.
Yeah. So at the very beginning, it was myself, and then I had a very part-time person. So trying to sort of figure out, how to get my name out there.
Okay. Get your name out there.
How to get my name out there, from just like an awareness, like who are we? Where can you find us? The very basic pieces. Make my own website. Just that general information. And then I used social media a ton, just to try and get volunteers and things like that.
Gotcha.
And social media definitely was really important, and that's how I found all of our volunteers, which some of those volunteers became our board members. Or I just found a little shocking initially too, like people were showing up to come sort books in a basement, and I was like, oh, I don't even know you. It's so crazy.
Sure.
Crazy
on both sides.
Crazy on both sides. But that really worked.
All right.
And I still get a little nerdy about all of that data and like where people are, finding all of that.
Yeah.
But that really worked well. And really looking into that backside of things, of what worked, what didn't work. And I really used that to our advantage. So whether, I know this really worked on Instagram, I also used LinkedIn a ton before people weren't really using it for that. And I really showed not only what Madison Reading Project was doing, but also what I was doing as an entrepreneur. And that's, I think, also how we really were able to get the word out about Madison Reading Project. And some of our stuff also would say that's also in some ways good or bad how we looked bigger than what we were.
Right.
Which can go both ways.
It's a fake it till you make it mentality that I think is reasonable.
People did see us in a variety of places online. But that is, I think, initially was helpful to us how we were able to get a variety of sponsorships and volunteers at the size that we were, through social media versus some of the traditional methods of a small nonprofit.
Nice. I love it. Where can people find you?
On social media.
On social media.
On our website, madisonreadingproject.com.
Okay, all one word?
Yep.
All right, super easy.
Super easy. Yes, on LinkedIn and Instagram and everywhere else. And the website, I feel like, has all the different items for you to click through.
Does it have a calendar or anything like that where people can find you?
It does have a calendar.
Okay.
Hit that.
All right.
But it has all of our events coming up, how to volunteer, how to be a donor.
Nice.
How to go to the fashion show.
All right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
How to get a great list of books for kids.
Oh, well, that alone, that's really cool. Rowan, this is amazing.
Thank you.
We got something incredible going on here.
We appreciate it.
And we're talking 12 years in. So, yeah, I'm excited to see in the next decade what this turns into. Like, pump the brakes, James, one day at a time.
Yeah.
This is cool. So, thank you for doing all this, making the world a smarter place.
We appreciate it.
It's always a good thing. This has been Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. We're locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie. If you're listening or watching this on the web, if you could do us a huge favor, give it the big old thumbs up, subscribe, and of course, share it with your entrepreneurial friends, as well as those friends that are looking for a place to donate to. Those friends that have some kids that need some books to learn how to read or keep reading, keep them interested in reading. I missed anything there?
Or adults who just want to read.
Oh, there's that as well.
I read a lot of kids' books.
Oh, well, right on. I suppose that's just nature of the
me.
business, right? It's not so depressing. Um, we'd like to thank your wonderful listeners as well as our guest, Rowan Childs of Madison Reading Project. Rowan, can you tell us the website one more time?
MadisonReadingProject.com.
Awesome. Past episodes can be found morning, noon, and night at the podcast link found at drawincustomers.com. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. I want you to stay awesome. And if you do nothing else, enjoy your business. Boom.